I'm sitting in the office that the school psychologist usually uses. It's windowless, painted blue. It has two mahogany tables and some office chairs. And I'm sitting with my mentor teacher, John. He has a camcorder and he's flipped out the side view camera, and we're watching a video of my lesson the previous period. It's 2014. He definitely has a smartphone, but for some reason, he's recorded me on an actual video camera. And he presses play, and two things pop out at me as I'm watching myself. One, my voice is high pitched, too high pitched. Two, I keep making this like repetitive motion with my fingers, not really sure what I'm trying to illustrate there. I'm very distracted by this, but I'm also distracted by the color of my shirt and the fact that everyone looks bored. I look bored, my students look bored. Watching the video kind of turns into watching a horror film for me. I feel like I want to plug my ears and close my eyes, and it seems to go on forever. Finally, mercifully, John closes the side view camera, turns to me and says, "Are you having fun doing this?" For context, John, my mentor teacher at the time, is like a modern lumberjack. He has a beard, wears flannels, has this big booming voice, and is always smiling. He's kind of the exact opposite of me when I began teaching. He was relaxed in the classroom. I was rigid, worried I wouldn't reach my goal for the day, worried I was harming students in unknowable ways because of the privilege and power that I hold. From that video, it was clear that John was having fun and I was not. I thought teaching was supposed to be orderly and precise. When I was in graduate school, my professor handed me a graphic organizer to structure my lesson plans. And let me tell you, I'm a girl who loves a graphic organizer. I loved having my thoughts be structured and precise, my steps be orderly and methodological. Looking back on it, I thought that I got into teaching because I love science, and I do. I really enjoy physics and biology, the subjects I teach. But I think what I really love is like preciseness and order and detail more than anything else. But this aspect of my personality was not translating well into my classroom teaching. And I couldn't really figure out why until I watched that video. I can't remember any of the specifics of what happened after John asked me that question, but it was my pivotal moment, my aha. It was this radical introduction of fun and joy, and something that had never been emphasized to me before. And it's something I really try to hold myself to every day. I became committed to being the teacher that prioritized joy. At this first job, joy popped up where I least expected it. It was in the center of the mosh pit at every school dance. It was when Josh, in his black beanie and white Doc Martens, came up with inside jokes for the class as we prepared for our Socratic seminar on nuclear science. Joy was when my engineering students made Rube Goldberg machines, and those machines totally failed, and they spilled marbles all across the floor, the red orbs ricocheting off of every desk. It was a total nightmare to clean up. In the year that I student taught with John, and in the 4 subsequent years that we were colleagues, he taught me that teaching was messy and malleable and an art form. And he raised the most important question I've ever been asked in my career. It really showed me that when you have a strong ally and strong leadership in schools, you and your students can prioritize joy. Flash forward 5 years, I'm in a new school in a new state. It's a school that's bigger, and the roles for teachers and students are very different. And it's also after the pandemic. After all the ways that inequities in education and teaching and learning have been exposed, and how we squandered that chance at rebirth. I'm thinking about how every student got a laptop and Wi-Fi was deemed a necessary utility. I'm thinking about how we got rid of standardized testing as a metric of success, and how celebrities wrote songs about how teachers should get paid $1 billion a day. But then overnight, we went back to education as if nothing had really happened. And we gave up this opportunity for like real liberation in our education. And with that, I think I lost some of my joy. I still think joy is the most important question or the thing to prioritize, but it's becoming harder and harder to feel it in my classroom. Last month at my current school in Virginia, I did an activity centered on college and career readiness and life after high school. The goal was to get my juniors sort of familiar with how to sort of like look up what they wanted to do after they graduated. And I was blown away by how my students engaged with with this task. There was like this fervor. Phones were away. Everyone was like really committing out loud to all the things they wanted to do and be. People were saying they wanted to be computer scientists and mechanical engineers and doctors and veterinarians and forensic psychologists. And I just thought to myself, how could they possibly know which of these will actually make them happiness? How can I help them find what will bring them joy? A few minutes later, my student Michael called me over, AirPods in his ears, clad in a matching sweatsuit, which he made clear to let me know was all Balenciaga. And he turned to me very earnestly and said, well, why did you want to become a teacher? Do you like this job? In that moment, I froze. When Michael asked me the same question essentially that John asked me, but 9 years later, it hit differently because I have less confidence now than I ever did before. When you have joy radiating throughout the whole building, between staff outside the classroom, that's when you can have joy inside the classroom. And that's what I had at my first position. I think back to my most challenging days at my first school. It was called Senior Day. It was when we had the seniors in to submit their college applications. It was a grueling day. We were at school until like 8 p.m., making sure everyone submitted their work. It was rounds of essays, dealing with tech issues, financial aid forms, lots of tears. But through it all, we had this adult community that used it as a moment to reflect and find joy. We thought about how we'd grown over the past 4 years. We knew our students and thought about how they had grown. And it really showed me that if the adults in a building don't have a joyful community, kids won't either. And I credit this to strong leadership. So at my first job, through all this frustration and exhaustion, I was still having fun. Now I'm in a different situation and it's harder to answer that role. I feel like I'm in a totally different world and I'm struggling with this question. I really wonder how we're making students feel in the classroom today. And just as importantly, how do we make teachers feel? It makes me think about what is our purpose in school. I realize I might have lost a little bit of joy over the past few years, and I'm not totally sure what the answer is to Michael's question, but I'm really grateful he asked me it. Our education should be joyful for both students and teachers. I'm still trying to find my joy. Thank you.